Episode 7 of Mic'd Up, a giddy episode of Mic'd Up. Michael Merlo here with you. Thanks for listening. Thank you for joining. Yes, it's a very giddy one because not only is New York baseball trending in the right direction at the right time, but we're coming up on football season, and football season is just, it feels like Christmas. It feels like if you like school starting and the season starting, but really Christmas is probably the better description. Little football in this episode, mainly baseball. Just a couple of quick updates. We are starting big time with football. I mean, we've already really gotten it going on the social media pages. We're going to be starting gambling shows, which I guess we'll, tell you about when they come out. But we will have gambling shows with Bo Dragon and I. Very excited for that. Twice a week, giving picks, giving reactions to the picks on Monday. Quick episode and previewing the Monday Night Football game. Super excited for that. We're going to have a preview show, futures, bets, everything. That'll come out Monday or Tuesday. So right after or on Labor Day weekend there. So very excited. Football's back, and we're super pumped, and we're really excited to start the gambling channel now, which is going to be big for us. And I love to gamble. I love to gamble on football. I've gotten the itch with football coming up. I've been placing some future bets the last couple of days, and I'm super pumped for it. So football right around the corner, 1 week away. College football this week, which is going to be very exciting. We will do a little college football on here. I will talk college football on this podcast when the season really gets going, rip roaring. I had a suggestion made to me by my friend Billy. He had us place Clemson to win the national championship. So that's what I have in football, in college football right now. That's it. Clemson to win the national championship. And I'm pretty sure they're ranked 4 to start the year. So we'll definitely talk some college football on here because there's really no other spot to talk college football. And we're going to get that on here. We'll start with the Mets because, oh boy, what a week it has been. What a week it has been. I got to say, I was at the game Tuesday night. And that atmosphere at Citi Field last night really felt like a playoff atmosphere, but more of a 2024 feel. The Mets, for whatever reason, have the Phillies number at Citi Field. They own the Philadelphia Phillies at Citi Field. And the Mets winning these last 2 games, Monday and Tuesday night, but more specifically Tuesday night, those felt like wins from 2024. You had to come back, you had to fight, and then you had to retake the lead late in the game in the bottom of the ninth on Tuesday night. It really felt like 2024 wins. And it is absolutely hysterical that the Phillies, like we know about the House of Horrors that is Truist Park and Turner Park in the past for the Mets in Atlanta. But like right now, Citi Field is a house of horrors for the Philadelphia Phillies. And it is absolutely hysterical. And it's great to be on the other end of this finally. I mean, you bring in Johan Duran, one of the best closers in baseball, and his first outing against the Mets as a Philly, he gives up 4 straight hits without recording an out in the inning. It's unbelievable what this team does when they get to Citi Field. They just fold. They lay on the ground, and that is it. It is incredible. It has been so much fun to watch. It is just... And now it's like, are they back? And now you ask the question, are they back? And the offense has really started to roll the last 2 weeks now. For the last 2 weeks, this offense has been one of the best in baseball, if not the best in baseball. They've been the best in baseball with runners in scoring position. This issue that had been plaguing them all season long finally has gone away. Guys are getting big hits. It is just like a 180. And I talk about this all the time. You talk about getting hot at the right time. In baseball, you're going to go through good stretches, bad stretches, and they may be long. They may be a month. They may be a month and a half. This was 2 months of bad baseball. And I'm not saying the Mets are completely out of the woods yet, but they really do start to look like they're coming out of it. But teams do go through these lulls. I mean, last season they played poorly for 2 full months, a little bit longer than that, until they finally went on a run and got to the National League Championship Series. So they went through this 2-month stretch of just putrid baseball, whether it was the offense not doing anything or the starting pitching giving them nothing or the bullpen blowing games. They went through this stretch. And now the offense has started to come around. You bring up Nolan McLean, who has looked absolutely exceptional in his first few starts here. And he'll pitch tonight, Wednesday night, against the Phillies to go for the sweep against Taijuan Walker. But you bring him up, and he kind of starts to settle it down a little bit. Clay Holmes has been better the last couple of starts. And now you start to really get a sense like, okay, maybe the pitching staff is starting to settle in. You traded for these bullpen pieces. Ryan Helsley has been putrid, disgusting as a Met, but Tyler Rogers has been good, and Gregory Soto has been good for the most part. Diaz is the best closer in baseball. Garrett, before he got hurt, was pretty good, having a nice season. So there are pieces in this pen as well, and they have started to settle in a little bit after just blowing lead after blowing leads after blowing leads constantly. It may be starting to settle in for this team. Things may be starting to head in the right direction because the offense right now has been unbelievable. And I haven't even brought up the fact that you are calling up Jonah Tong, the best pitching prospect in baseball, having the best season out of any pitcher in the minor leagues this season. You're bringing Jonah Tong up, and he's going to start Friday night against the Miami Marlins. And you're looking for that same effect, that same spark that Nolan McLean gave you. Now, hopefully, Jonah Tong can come up here, have some success with his disgusting stuff. And hopefully he could give you a little boost. And now you really feel good about this rotation. Because Manaea, he hasn't gone deep into games. He's had time he's had a hard time going 2 and 3 times around the batting order. But his stuff looks good. His strikeouts are there. He's got to go deep into games. He's got to help your bullpen out. But you still have Manaea. Clay Holmes could be a nice bulk piece in the postseason. I think Senga should not start a game. I think he should be a bulk piece as well. I think McLean absolutely deserves to start a playoff game even after just 2 starts. And obviously Peterson. But things are starting to take shape now for this team. And I'll tell you this, I wouldn't want to play the Mets in a short series. See, in a longer series, I'd rather play the Mets. If you told me you have a 7-game series against the Mets, I don't know if I love their chances. But in a 3-game series, maybe even a 5-game series, I really like the Mets' chances. Because of what I could do with these pitchers, what I could do with these starting pitchers. If McLean continues to have success and Tong comes up here and has some success, doesn't have to be unbelievable, just some success, they're a problem. They're a problem in a short series. And again, I don't know if I would pick them to beat the Padres or the Dodgers in a 7-game series. But in a 3-game series, who the hell knows? I'm going to throw Peterson out there game 1. He's had great success against the Dodgers. So I'm going to throw Peterson out there game 1. Then maybe I give you McLean, who's got nasty stuff in game 2. And maybe I piggyback game 3 with a mixture of Holmes, Senga, or Manaea, 2 of those guys. And then my bullpen, which I like. I wouldn't want to play the Mets in a short series. I really wouldn't. Again, a longer series, fine. I would like the other team's chances. But in a short series, I don't want to see this Mets team. And I'll tell you what, the Phillies don't want to see this Mets team. You can play the game in Japan, they don't want to see the Mets. You can play the game in Australia, they don't want to see the Mets. Doesn't matter where you play the game. The Philadelphia Phillies don't want to see the New York Mets in a postseason series. After what happened last year, after what's happened this season. That's 9 straight games at Citi Field. It's unbelievable. According to the Phillies broadcast, it's the longest streak that the Phillies have lost in New York, or maybe in a stadium. I think it was New York, since 1984. 1984. It's a long, hard rivalry you got here with the Mets and the Phillies. So it was incredible. I mean, to see Duran come out last night and give it up like that was the cherry on top. these guys that have been here a while, the guys that have been here a couple of years, they know they've struggled against the Mets. It's in the back of their mind. Of course it is. You could tell. You could hear it in their voices. You could see it in their faces that they've had struggles with the Mets. But you bring somebody fresh in like Duran. Duran or Duran? I heard Gary Cohen say Duran. I've heard Duran. I'll go with Duran. Yohan Duran. He hasn't been here. He doesn't know these struggles. And you bring him out there last night and they rip 4 singles off of him. 3 hard hit, 1 little dunker there by Mr. Brett Beatty, who got a lot of praise from Jeff McNeil, from Brandon Nimmo last night, in the post-game press conference, saying, you better remember his name. He's going to be here a real long time, something along those lines. Good for Brandon. Good for Brett. And good for Mark Vientos, who looks like he's all the way back right now. Cannot be stopped. Cannot be stopped over the last month. Has been one of the best hitters in the entire sport. Maybe the last 2 weeks, one of the best hitters in the entire sport. But he has been great. And Pete Alonso had a great night Tuesday night, and he seems like he's breaking out of a little slump there. He's 5 for his last 45. Hopefully he's breaking out of it because obviously you need him. Soto gets on base, gets the base hits. Doesn't have... I'm in the stands last night. And Soto comes up in the bottom of the 8th. Lindor hits a single. And Soto comes up. And I got a fan in front of me, older guy. And he's screaming. Like Soto hasn't even done anything. Like the at-bat hasn't even started. And he's screaming at Soto. This guy's done nothing all year. This guy stinks. He's useless. I mean, I'm sitting there like the at-bat hasn't even started yet. And listen, I agree. I was like, he hasn't been bad. I had to say something. I'm like, I got to educate the people. Like, he hasn't been that bad. I mean, he's having a good season. I mean, statistically, he's getting his numbers. Now, I said, does he have the big Met moment? No, this could be it. I said, but he doesn't have that big moment. He doesn't have that massive home run with guys on base to change the trajectory of a game late in the game. He hasn't had that yet. He really hasn't. And he's going to get a lot of those chances, and he's going to have a lot of those moments as a Met. But so far in 2025, he hasn't come up with that big hit. But he will get there. But the hate. I don't understand the hate. I can't. And it's the older generation. It's the older generation that just cannot stand him. Cannot stand him. It was a good night. It was a good night at Citi Field. I mean, unbelievable. And Tong, Friday night, be in the building. Hopefully be in the building. I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped to watch what Jonah Tong can bring and what kind of spark he could give you. Shout out to Edwin Diaz making Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper look silly in the 8th and 9th inning last night. One of those at-bats with a guy on base. It's great. Diaz owns them. Diaz owns the top of that lineup. It's kind of crazy how much he owns the top of that lineup. And he did a good job last night. Had at Citi Field, before we move on to the Yankees, I got to say this. We'll throw this in there. I've heard so much about these egg rolls, these like specialty egg rolls they do at Citi Field. And we all know Citi Field is the best food in baseball. It's voted on, whatever. But they do. And they have these egg rolls, okay? And they had like a cinnamon egg roll. There was a Philly cheesesteak egg roll. They'll do one based on what team's in town. So whatever, your city is special, whatever your city is known for, obviously Philly cheesesteak, they did a Philly cheesesteak egg roll. They ran out of those. So they had a Verrazano, which I guess is just there every night for the Mets in New York. They had it was chicken cutlet, vodka sauce, mozzarella, and an egg roll. I cannot believe I've been to Citi Field. I mean, a lot. Okay. And I haven't had that yet. It was unbelievable. It was famous because they did the rainbow cookie egg roll. And that's how it really they got their name out there. They did this rainbow cookie egg roll. And that's where I started to hear about them a couple of years back. And they didn't have them last night. I wouldn't have gotten it anyway. But unbelievable. Like every time I go to Citi Field now, I'm going to have to get an egg roll. I'm going to have to go get one of those egg rolls. It was unreal. So I highly recommend that if you're going to Citi Field. That's all I'm going to say. They're in center field across from Shake Shack. Unreal. Uh, the Yankees. I don't really have a ton on the Yankees right now just because they're playing the Nationals and the Nationals stink. Yes, they beat the Mets 2 out of 3 last week. The Nationals stink. A couple things I will say about the Yankees, obviously, you cannot stop Stanton. I mean, it's inevitable. He's unbelievable. He's almost going to pass Judge with OPS here. There's a chance, right? What is he at? He's in the mid. Let me see. I'm going to check really quickly. I keep clicking on Monday night's game. I want Tuesday, August 26th. Yeah, I mean, they're close. Judge is at 1,100 even, and Stanton's at 1051. They're really close. Obviously, Stanton's played a lot less games, but it's incredible what he's been able to do. A big star for Luis Hill last night, though. He goes 5, no run, 1 run, 5 Ks. The walks are still up, but after a bad start Thursday night against the Red Sox, he bounces back and doesn't give up too much. And then you go, Fernando Cruz is back, and you go down the list there. Cruz, Hill, Duvall, Bednar. That's big getting Cruz back, though, because he really was a big-time piece for that bullpen before he got hurt, and he was nasty. And he had 2 strikeouts last night, and that was just 2 outs. So he's been, good this season, and they're going to need him to continue to be good because now you're really creating what could be a super pen as long as Duvall and Williams continue to figure it out. Weaver's been good. Bednar obviously has been holding it down in the 9th. So that's good stuff for the Yankees there as they won 5-1 last night. And we have to talk about Cam Schlittler because how good has this guy been? Yeah, we had the start where I actually didn't even realize last week in Tampa that he was perfect through 6. I did not realize that. I'd continued to hear about it until I finally went and looked. But he goes 6 innings, 8 strikeouts against the Nationals, no runs, 3 walks, 4 hits. Gets the win against Washington Monday night. But this guy, he's 2-2 with a 2.76 ERA, 42 innings pitched. He's got how many strikeouts? 46 strikeouts in 42 innings. An opponent batting average of 232. The walks are a little high. He's a young kid. He's just making his debut a few weeks back. Not worried about that. The guy's been almost like a godsend, this kid, 24 years old. And I mean, you're getting that same effect that the Mets have with McLean and hopefully Tong now. You're having that same, rejuvenated feeling about your pitching rotation where Fried has kind of taken a couple of steps back the past few weeks. And now you look at what you have in terms of your starting rotation and you say, I don't know how much I love this. Heel has been rocky since coming off the IL. Rodon has been Rodon this season, consistent. You got to feel great about what Cam Schlittler has given you because that is just a huge boost. You lose Clark Schmidt. Will Warren's also been pretty good for this team. It's a breath of fresh air. And I think now you have to have the conversation like out of Luis Heel, Cam Schlittler, and Will Warren, who would start game 3? Who would start game 3 of a postseason series? I think you're crazy right now if you don't say Cam Schlittler. I would consider Will Warren, but I think I would go with Cam. It would not be Heel. I'd bring Heel out of the bullpen if I could. But my game 3 starter would be Cam Schlittler right now. And he's been just lights out. And he's got great stuff. That fastball is electric. And he's a big kid, big body, big athlete. And he's been really good for this team. And I hope that he's making big postseason starts for this team. And he should be. He should be starting game 3. They're actually playing right now as we speak, the Yankees. And they're up 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Trying to see who's pitching. I know who's pitching. Oh, Fried's pitching. 3 innings, 2 Ks, no hits, no runs, no walks. So Fried's on the mound against the Nats, an opponent he's seen a lot in his career. The Yankees are 72-20, and they're opening up a decent-sized lead in that wild card. They are a half game back of the Boston Red Sox. Really a game back, because if it was tied, they would not have the lead. And they're opening up a nice lead here. 4.5 games on the fourth place Royals in the wild card. They have a game and a half lead on the Mariners, who are the third wild card currently. So the Yankees are starting to open it up here a little bit in this AL wild card. The Mets have also opened it up. I didn't mention that. We were discussing the Dodgers had beat the Reds 2 straight here to start, as the Mets won 2 straight. So it's a 3.5 game lead for the New York Metropolitans in the wild card standings, and a 5 game lead in the division, as the Mets will try and make it 4 with a sweep tonight of the Phillies. Around Major League Baseball, nothing crazy for me. Yordan Alvarez is back for the Astros. Hopefully that's a big boost for them. The Blue Jays continue to roll. They're 4 games up on the Red Sox, 4.5 games up on the Yankees. The Tigers continue to roll as well. They lost 3 straight, but they had a really nice stretch there. They got back to over 20 games over 500, but 3 straight losses now for them. They're losing in Sacramento against the A's. Nathan Eovaldi out for the season. He's having a fantastic year. I don't think he would have won the Cy Young, but certainly a contender for the Cy Young. The Marlins really cooled off. They're 8 games under after being a couple of games back of being 500. The Braves still stink. The Brewers kind of fell off a little bit there, but they've won 2 straight now and are back. They were, 3-7 in their last 10 before these last 2 wins here. And the Cubs, 6.5 games back of them. I talked about the Reds. They're 3.5 games back of the Mets in the wild card. And the Dodgers continue to dominate the Padres over the weekend. They took that series, and they have a 1-game lead currently in the division. That is going to be a very interesting race heading down the stretch. Very quickly in football, Rashee Rice, he's going to be suspended 6 games most likely. There was that weird he might not be suspended for the first 3, and then he's going to be suspended. I think it was smarter to just take the suspension outright. They didn't know exactly what it was going to be. I think he's going to miss the first 6 games of the year, though. That's what you're hearing. And if he does, he's going to miss games against the Chargers, the Eagles. They play the Giants in that stretch. Let's pull up the schedule very quickly. But the Giants have a chance to miss Parsons and Rashee Rice. Yeah, so the first week, obviously, we know the Chargers and Brazil. Then you have the Eagles week 2, Giants week 3, Ravens week 4, Jags week 5, Lions week 6. So that is a tough 6 games there. That is not an easy 6 games. Chargers, Eagles, Ravens, Lions. Jaguars, don't really know how much I love them this year, but that might not be an easy game. The Giants aren't as easy as they used to be. They'll win the game still without them, but it could get interesting. So you're losing your number 1 wide receiver there for a few weeks, 6 weeks, and those are some tough opponents in the first 6 weeks. 4 of those opponents are going to be playoff teams most likely. So that is a big time loss for them, but hopefully they can get him going in the middle of the year, and then hopefully becomes that number 1 weapon for them. I mean, wouldn't that be nice? And finally, a lot of smoke around Micah Parsons being traded. I doubt. Listen, I still would be shocked if he got traded. I would be shocked if they traded him. But the Packers seem like the team that would want to make the trade. They seem the most aggressive. But I still believe that he'll be a Cowboy. I still believe at the end of the day, Jerry Jones is going to pay him. But who the hell knows? Jerry is crazy. Jerry is a nut, and Jerry does not like to be proven wrong. So I don't know. Kay Adams tweeted something last night. Kind of got fans going crazy about the trade, about a potential trade. But who the hell knows? I don't think. Apparently, what the claim is that Parsons would have a deal on the table for about $45 million a year from the Packers. Now, again, I do not think he's going to get moved, but it would be an interesting spot, and that would put them in a very interesting place. I already picked them. I already bet the Packers to win the division. I would really feel good about that bet if they traded for Micah Parsons, obviously. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to monitor. And if he can get out of the NFC East, that would be great. Quick episode here. Mets own the Phillies at Citi Field. That's what we'll title it. Stanton's on a heater. He's been great. Check us out. I don't know if we're doing another Burrows before the end of the week, but we are going to be recording the preview special for the BTO Gambling Show. Beat the Odds. That's what we're calling it, a football gambling podcast. We're going to have a preview show giving you all of our future bets coming up. I just spoiled one there for you. Packers doing the division. So we're going to have that out probably Monday or Tuesday of next week. We're going to record that tomorrow or Friday. Very excited for that. Look out for the BTO Gambling stuff. Follow BTO Gambling on Instagram. We have that account now. Very excited about that. Check out all our social media pages, as well as we are delivering content constantly every single day. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you sticking around here. And we will talk to you guys next week.